Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Simon Popple. He is the CEO of Brookville Capital, regarded as an expert on gold. And so we learn from him how to invest in gold without taking delivery, how to hold it inside a pension, and why a simple structured system makes gold investment boring and not speculative. So we learn about all that and much more. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Great to be here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Welcome to the show, Simon. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure here a lot of gold gets bought and sold. So welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about and learn from Simon about a system, a proper system, structured system for investing in gold. So we'll talk about all this and more. But before that, let's understand a bit about you, a bit about your journey, your background, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
No, sure. I mean, my background is I did the normal MBA, went into investment banking, in corporate finance, used to buy and sell companies, then went into property and ran a development fund. And then probably about 20 years ago, I sort of decided that commodities, in particular gold, had a great future. I think a lot of people thought I was mad because I was leaving the property industry. I was a director of, or the youngest director of one of the world's largest private property companies, and yeah, since then I've been investing in gold, and more recently teaching people how to invest in gold, because I think gold is a no-brainer. Everyone knows it's a good investment, but very few people know actually, how you should invest in it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So gold, everyone knows gold. A lot of people have gold. Everyone, wants to keep because of its value. But what in your understanding should people understand about gold? Gold only from economic sense of view, or gold should we also understand from a much more wider or much more extensive point of view, the way you see it, Simon?
Well, there's lots of different, even though there's only one type of gold, there's lots of different ways of investing in gold. And these all have different risks, different rewards, and there are a variety of reasons. I know a lot of people have gold jewelry and things like that, and I put that into sort of a physical gold bucket. But you need to have a bit of water in all your buckets. So not just physical gold. Having a fund, having some companies makes sense, because you need some diversification within your portfolio. Even though the gold price has done very, very well over many years, you don't want all your investment to be purely about the gold price. We've seen recently how it can move around. So I think it's important that people have diverse exposure to it, and they hold it in such a way that actually works for them. If you need income, then getting some large companies can work out well for you. If you want purely liquidity, then perhaps physical gold. But everything really depends on the investor. And I think that people basically go, gold, I want some, and they buy a miner, or they buy physical gold, whatever it is, and they view that as their allocation to gold. And it's actually, it's a lot more complex than that.
Absolutely. If gold is so lucrative, what is it that people still, why is it and what is it that people still misunderstand about gold, and have misconceptions also about gold that you talk about?
Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is if you've got to be rich to have gold. You don't have to be rich. The cheapest coin is, I'm trying to think in US dollars, probably, 150 US dollars, something like that. You could buy a coin, and it wouldn't cost you a fortune, and then at least you've got some investment in gold, and you don't have to spend a fortune on it. And if you want to buy, a large amount of gold, then you don't have to take delivery of it and store it and worry about insurance and things like that. There's a lot of dealers that can store and insure it for you professionally. You can invest in it without taking delivery. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. I think the other thing, a lot of people, gold itself doesn't yield anything if you buy physical gold. But if you buy companies, they pay dividends. And so if income's important to you, then there is a way of investing in the sector where you can get income. Yeah, I'd say you don't want to have all your money in that area. But what I try and teach people is, depending on where they are in life, they may want to have some income or perhaps even no income, but it's very much horses for courses, and liquidity is important as well. So if you need your money quickly, gold is incredibly liquid. Even companies are listed, so you can get your money back quickly. But I always say to people, providing you don't need your money back in a year, I think you want to have at least a year time horizon. There's lots of different ways you can invest.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's understand from a person in whatever phase of journey that they are in. If they have started, they are rich or less rich or poor. If they consider themselves that way, not much of income, disposable income, or not too much of savings, but they feel and they get convinced that gold is something I can look at. How do they get started into investing in gold, and how do they know which is the best route for them, whether physical gold or paper gold, and the way they want to see it? Some people may think, I'm already late, the prices have risen so much, I will not get much returns, though historically gold has always given that better returns. From all those perspectives, why I ask this is because of the, in your country or even in my country or any other country, people can understand, relate to it, and learn for themselves from what you would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the first thing I'd say is you can't control the markets. We all know that, but you can control how you invest in the market. So if someone is investing for the first time, I could understand them being nervous given what's happened to the gold price. But I would say, don't put all your money in one go. Let's say spread it out over, I don't know, 4 investments, for example. And so you put some in today, and then you wait a few months, and then you put some more in, and then you wait a few months, put some more in, wait a few months, put some more in. Now, each time you invest, one or two things, or one of 3 things will happen. The gold price will have gone up, in which case your existing investment has gone up, and you may think, well, actually, I don't want to put any more in. Or the gold price has gone down, in which case you think, oh, actually, I can buy more than I thought I could. And so, I was going to buy gold anyway, so I can get more of it. Or it stayed the same. So I think the first thing I'd say is, if you're new to the sector, I wouldn't suggest putting all your money in one go. No one knows what the future is going to bring, but I think by having average, sort of averaging in, and I'd also say average out. I don't think you should sell it all in one go. I think you should sell it in chunks. I think that's the first thing I'd say to anyone. A lot depends on how much money you've got. If you don't have much, then I've never known a child say, I don't want a gold coin. So if you're blessed with children, then you could always get a little coin and say, right, I've got 3 little coins. Let's say you've got 3 children, and that's my investment. And if things work out well, then my children each get a gold coin. If I need the money quickly, then I've got 3 gold coins I can sell quickly. So it can be a sort of lifestyle thing as well. It doesn't have to, yes, it's an investment, but it can also be part of your life. And you might do really well, and you may say, okay, well, rather than have one gold coin each, you have two gold coins each, or whatever it is. But the great thing about gold is it's been around for thousands of years. You can't print it, and so in 50 years' time, obviously, no one knows what the future holds. But given gold came to us from outer space, and if we get another meteorite hitting us, we won't be around to tell the story.
Yeah.
There's a good chance in 50 years it'll still have value. And so I think that buying at least a little bit of gold can help you and your family. Another interesting fact I found was it's actually performed better than property over the long term. So if you're, I'm not saying buy gold instead of property. What I'm saying is buy gold and property. And I think that having a diverse portfolio, you should have some gold in it. And I think a lot of people don't. A lot of people, they talk about they want to win the gold medal. They don't want that person to marry a gold digger. They're looking forward to their golden years. Child has been as good as gold. They use it in their everyday language. But then if you say to them, oh, do you have any? They're like, oh, no, I don't. So I think it's important to have at least some. And you don't need to go crazy, but just have some.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what is the best way when you talk of a portfolio? Is it only about gold portfolio that you have either physical gold or paper gold or any other, or is it just one more investment with along with other investments? How should one understand that?
What I say to people is your gold investment is part of your other investment portfolio. So it may sit alongside your bonds, your equities, your property, whatever else you have. But rather than just have gold, and a lot depends on how much you're going to invest. But if you can afford it, and I think you probably need in the region of about $15,000 if you're going to have a portfolio, then what I suggest is having some physical gold, have a fund, and then I use the fantasy football format to explain it. So you have a goalkeeper, defenders, midfielders, and forwards. A goalkeeper is a large multinational. Defender is a large gold producer. Midfielder is probably new to producing or only has one asset, so it's higher risk. And a forward is an explorer. And what I say to people is you want to have a bit of all of these. If you're particularly risk averse, you probably want to have more of your money in your defenders and goalkeeper. And if you're more aggressive and like higher risk, you probably want to have more of your money in your midfielders and your forwards. But you might have, if you're risk averse, you may only have one forward. If you like risk, you may have three forwards or four forwards, but the key thing is you have a team. You wouldn't play football without a goalkeeper. And so I don't think you should invest without one either. You should, even if you don't have much money in it, you should still have one. And that's really where I come from. People should have a balanced portfolio, and every component of it plays a role. Particularly at the end of the season, you have let's say Manchester United win the league. Everyone knows it's Manchester United, but they don't know who the players are. And it's a bit similar to this. You can have a portfolio. The important thing is your portfolio makes money. So and I think the other thing is to win the league. Cricket, football, whatever it is, you don't have to win every match, and so you will have situations where a company underperforms, and if it does, that's life. You're not going to pick the best companies in the world. It just won't happen. And I'm sure you have it in India, but let's say at the end of a season, you'll pick the best cricket team or football team or whatever it is. Now, whoever won the league has probably got the most players in that sort of all-star team, but they won't have all the players. You know, there'll be players from other teams, but the key is that you win the league. Your portfolio does well, and that's really what I'm all about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So help us understand from a common person's perspective who understands football also, but also wants to know how to pick the right players here so that it becomes a solid, robust team which can win for them.
Well, what I do with my system is I give people a list of funds and a list of companies, and I explain the criteria. They get a free ebook with it, so that helps them pick um, companies for the various positions I just mentioned, and it makes life a lot easier for them because they're using my 20 years experience of investing as a professional investor, and they just pick a few companies for each position, and it basically makes their life a lot easier because they're picking from a list of proven mining companies that are trusted and in many cases already well known. And I'm not looking for, as a professional investor, I know the market very well, and I'm prepared to go with some smaller, higher risk companies. But for people who don't know the market, I don't really want them doing that, and so I want them going with more established companies. They can still do very well. They can make an awful lot of money if an explorer finds something, but I want them to. It was an awful lot of money. Let's be clear. You can make 10, 20, 30 times your money if an explorer does really well. But I want them to manage their risk. I want them to do well, and so I don't want to look at the really high risk stuff. I want to look at the kind of what I view as a sort of more proven companies in the sector.
Absolutely, absolutely, Simon. So, in your portfolio, you only suggest about companies from UK or any other market. Suppose somebody from India wants to build up their portfolio, or anywhere else in the world, they want to do it with their companies. How can they use your system, or they have to use all internationally available companies?
No, they could use my system. I mean, I advocate having companies in Australia, Canada, and the US, because there are so many companies out there that I feel that by sort of focusing on those countries, I can cover the sector, and so someone in India or anywhere in the world can access these companies. I think I'd also add that in the UK we have something called an ISA, which is capital gains tax free, and so you can put these companies in an ISA. In the UK as well, I'm not sure what the rules are in India, but in the UK you can put physical gold of a certain purity in your SIP or SAS, and so it can be a good pension asset. And what I'd say to people is, if you want to do that, that's absolutely brilliant. But you may have the physical gold in your pension, and you may have the companies in your ISA and a fund perhaps in your normal investment portfolio. The platforms can all vary, but it's more having the cross section of risk that is important.
Absolutely. In gold, do you also, one should also think of profit booking, or is it always, there? The money will always rise. So, profit booking or selling of gold only when you actually need it. What is your view on this?
I think you should sell it when you need it. I mean, it's very, very difficult to call a market, and that's one of the things I say about averaging in and averaging out. If you feel that your portfolio, I put two portfolios together last July. Sorry, I've got a dog, and they've already done over 40%. And if you feel, they've done well, I want to take a bit of money off the table, then rather than sell all of it, I'd say, why don't you sell a quarter of it? And one of three things will happen. It will go up, it'll go down, it'll stay the same. And it's kind of like no one knows what's going to happen to the gold price. And so if you need the money, and that's one of the great things about gold, it's incredibly liquid. So if you do need the money, you can get it quickly. Then yes, sell it. If you don't need the money, then I'd probably be inclined to leave it. And if you're a long-term investor, if it goes down, it goes down. But there's a good chance it'll go back up. If you're worried about it going down, you could always sell some and keep it on the side. But you need to remember that currencies depreciate as well. It's not just if you've got cash sitting there doing nothing, its purchasing power could be going down. And yes, the gold price could go down, but you might find that the gold price goes flying up and your currency goes down. So you do need to be a little bit careful.
Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, what would you want to share with people about investing in gold?
Well, I would urge them to have a system, to have a framework to do it. Obviously, I can offer that. If you go to www.goldprogram.co.uk, you can find out about the system. And I've got a beginner's guide to investing in gold, where I show people how to analyze, particularly the explorers, using what I call the bridge system. But if you're going to do it, my message to anyone is have a framework. Whether you use me or anyone else, it doesn't matter, but have a framework, have a strategy for doing it. You wouldn't walk onto a football pitch and not know which goal you're going to shoot in. And I think it's important that with any investment, not just gold, but any investment, to know what you want out of it.
Absolutely. And for those people who would want to connect with you directly, what's the best way for them to do so?
The best thing to do is to go to the website, as I said, www.goldprogram.co.uk. I've got my contact details on there. So go on that and drop me a line. I'm also on LinkedIn. And so if they are interested, then we can have a chat and see if I can help them.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much.